All right, welcome into a special edition of Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. Different cast of characters here tonight. I'm Ethan Skolnick. Going to do this a little bit differently as well. This is going to end up on the podcast feed. So again, the intro is going to sound slightly different than it typically does. But what is similar is that our sponsor tonight is PrizePicks. That's the official fantasy sponsor of the Five Reasons Sports Network. Also just ranked the #1 fastest growing sports product in the country, and it is legal in the state of Florida as well as many other states. So this is the easiest fantasy game to play. You can play with the most sports. They have like 15 sports up there right now. Of course, you can play NFL. What we always tell you is use the code 5, F-I-V-E, get your initial deposit matched up to $100. They don't have a bunch of rollovers. This is not a scam. They're literally giving you the money to play, okay? And they also give you free swears and all that kind of stuff. So this is an episode entirely devoted to PrizePicks and the Miami Heat. We'll do a little bit of NBA at the end, general NBA, but we are going to base this around the props that are already on the board for the Miami Heat. There's only 3 that are up there right now for the entire season. We're going to discuss all 3 of these. I'm going to discuss them with my panel. No Alex, no Brady, no Greg tonight. They all have the night off. I've got Timothy Bain. You may be familiar with his work from Nassau, Bahamas. He was with me during training camp and then actually after I left as well. You can follow him at, he's got a bunch of A's and a bunch of M's, and so you can follow him there. But Timothy Bain, also from the Bahama Rican Boys, and his partner in the Bahama Rican Boys, Brian Fonseca. You can follow him at Brian Fonseca NY. Don't hold the New York against him. You can follow him there. And he has been a regular with us as well. Just did 5 on the Floor live with Greg Sylvander the other night off the preseason game. And then Gadiel Cartagena. You're also familiar with his work from 5reasonsports.com. And he has been with us as well on 5 on the Floor. We've got David Eversole producing. David Eversole, my partner on PrizePicks on 5. So he's going to jump in here as well. So here's the 3 props we're going to go through tonight. No other sponsors. It's just a PrizePicks show. Again, use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Can get the initial deposit matched. You're also helping the network produce all of this content because they are our biggest sponsor. So let's go with this. All right, here's the first one, guys. There's one Heat player on there for points. It's Jimmy Butler. They've only got right now, let me look at this. They've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, roughly 30 players on here for points, okay? Looks like there's only one at most. I think there's 2 for each team. I think for most, at most there's 2 for any team. Only 1 for the Miami Heat. They have Jimmy Butler at 21 points for the season, okay? Now, last year I said that Jimmy Butler would not lead the Heat in scoring. He ended up pushing just ahead of that 21 number. He did lead the Heat in scoring just ahead of Tyler Hero. I anticipate Tyler is going to lead them in scoring this year. I'm doubling down on that, particularly with him being a starter. No disparagement to Jimmy, but I just think he's got a lot of other roles, and Tyler's going to be more of a scorer. I will start with Gad. Are you going over or under on Jimmy at 21 points per game this season?
Under. I think Jimmy's – if there's any one person on the Heat who's not going to care so much about stats in the regular season, it's Jimmy Butler, probably followed by Kyle Lowry. I think Hero and Bam are going to be their leading scorers this year, so I'm going under.
Hero and Bam. I will say this. If Bam is one of their 2 leading scorers, something's gone right because that's what they want, okay? We saw that with the pick and roll between Hero and Bam last night. Timmy, over or under on Jimmy at 21?
Definitely under because we saw what Boy Wonder is doing. We want Bam to shoot more. I see Bam shoot more. I think if Jimmy is over 21, there's something as also Jimmy's not going to play enough games. Sadly, Jimmy's we kind of pencil in Jimmy to play like 70 games at max. I think he releases.
But that doesn't affect his average, Timmy.
Well, it affects it counting. Doesn't it not? No.
No, well, I mean, okay. I think he's got to get. I don't know if PrizePicks has a minimum here.
58 games. 58 games.
Okay, 58 games. I would anticipate Jimmy's going to play more than 58. I think if there was an over/under on PrizePicks about his games, if you put it at 65, I might go under. I think it's going to be right around there, probably for Kyle Lowry as well. But you think in a per game basis, he's going under 21 points. All right, Brian, will you go against your partner here?
So last year he had 21.4, and the year before he had 21.5. My only question is this. If I say he's 20.8, is that still under or are they rounding up?
No, it's under. It's under.
Okay, so we're gonna go under because I feel like he's gonna get close. I think he'll be just over 20. 21 is tough though, and I think that he might not even lead a team in scoring, which I think is what you want at the end of the day. You want somebody else like stepping in and carrying the load offensively. So
I'm going under. So this is a clean sweep here, which means he'll be way over. I do think that they are tilting more offense this year. We've talked about that a lot on 5 on the floor, but I think they're tilting more offense with other players. So I think it's going to look a little bit different. I think the combinations are going to be different, and I do think the focus on getting Bam additional shots, I think those shots come from Jimmy, honestly. So that's, and there is a commitment in the organization to do that. As I've said, I don't think Bam will be second on the team in scoring. If he is, this is going to be a really good team because that's what they want. Okay, that's where they want this to go. They want Jimmy to be able to focus on freelancing on defense and creating for others. And then essentially, I think what we saw last night as we're doing this podcast, in the last preseason game is what they want. They want Hero and Bam to carry. They want Jimmy down the stretch. And that's, so I also think they're going to limit Jimmy's minutes a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy's minutes per game are shaved by maybe 1.5. That might be just enough to push him under the 21. So I am also going under. I do think he'll be over 19, but I think he'll be under 21. All right. Use the code 5, FIVE, prizepicks.com. If you have any comments here on the stream, we will take them as well. Let's get to number 2 here, though. Bam. 10 rebounds. Over or under? Last year, David Eversole pointed up 19.1 points per game, 10.1 rebounds, 3.4 assists. So essentially, he was right at this number last season. I would anticipate his minutes may go up a little bit this year, especially with some of the uncertainty in the front court. We don't know how much Jovic is going to contribute. We don't know if they're going to bring in another 4 like a Jay Crowder or somebody of that ilk. We also don't know Caleb Martin, sort of how that's going to play out. So I do think Bam's probably going to go up from a minutes basis. PJ Tucker helped Bam get a lot of rebounds with the way that he boxed out. And so even though PJ didn't get those rebounds, that was helpful to Bam. There's more of a focus on Bam as a scorer this year. I'm going under. I think he's going to be around 9. I think this is a good number. This is why PrizePicks can be a challenge sometimes. But I'm going to go under on 10 rebounds. Gad, your turn.
I am also going to go under. I think the PJ element is one that was big. I think Bam sometimes last year would benefit by PJ being the one to clear people out because PJ was great at boxing out. This year, he's going to be the one boxing out. I think you're going to see Caleb's numbers go up. I think you're going to see Hero's numbers go up. Maybe Kyle's numbers go up. I think he had like 9 rebounds last night. And even Jimmy. I think almost everyone will have more rebounds except Bam. I think Bam's going to get lower this year.
Tyler is also a very good rebounder for a guard, and he's going to be getting more of those minutes with Bam this year also. So I think he picks up some of those sort of cleaning up the backboard rebounds. Are we going to have a clean sweep here, guys? Are either of you, Brian or Timmy, going to go over on Bam's 10 rebounds?
Yeah, so a part of me just feels like he is the only big man in the rotation, and I just don't see him. Yeah, I understand that PJ Tucker won't be boxing out. Hero and Lowry are going to eat boards, but I just think that Bam's going to go over.
I'm concerned because out on the perimeter is where he's going to be defensively a large amount of the time. And one of the things that frankly kind of annoys me is that when they go small, which is usually good offensively, it takes him away from rebounding, and then they have to gang rebound, and you have small guys crashing into big guys, and that's how injuries can happen sometimes. We've seen Jimmy Butler hurt his tailbone in that same scenario. I still think he's going to go under. I don't think it'll be by much. Similar to what I said about Jimmy Butler, I think it's going to be 9.7, 9.5, something like that. But I also think that Tyler's rebounds will go up. To Gad's point, Kyle Lowry had 9 rebounds in the last preseason game. So I think Bam, he's going to rebound well this year. But I also think because he switches so much and he's going to be out on the perimeter when a lot of shots go up, other guys are going to be crashing the board. So I think he's going to be just under. But I'm not betting on this one. This is a stay away from me.
All right, so we've got a stay away. I'm counting it still as under, though. So Jimmy Butler, everybody under on points. Bam Adebayo, 3 of us under on rebounds. Timmy goes over on rebounds. Eversole, you're going to jump in here at the end and give your picks, okay? So just because you're producing doesn't mean that you get away with not being able to tell us what you think here. But we will get to that in a second. I do have a couple programming notes before we get to Kyle Lowry. We do have an episode with Jamal Cain's going to be coming up on 5 on the floor The 5 on the Floor crew, including myself, is going down to interview him on Friday. So look for that. Also, make sure you're catching Before Floor, hosted by Jonathan Ramlikan. Gad appears there at times as well, and of course, and as does Timmy. And the post-game show, of course, make sure you catch that. This year, all the post-game shows, we're starting them on the stream with the 5 on the Floor crew, at least 1 or 2 of the hosts from 5 on the Floor, plus others from the network, and then they're going to the podcast feed after, roughly the same time that they used to go up when we would just do a podcast. So that's the way we're handling things this year. But the difference is we're able to take your questions, and that we were not able to do on the podcast last season. All right, so let's get to this one. We've mentioned Kyle Lowry, 7 assists. I will start with you, Brian. Go.
Oh, man, I feel like Alex now because I did not want to be the one to start this. I'm gonna say over. Because I think under would be a disappointment here. And I do think he's going to go over and figure some things out. I don't know if he finishes the season in Miami. That's another discussion for another day. But I do think that if he does, it'll be over, a slight over. I believe he was over last year. Yeah, he was at 7.5. I think he'll roughly get to the same area assist-wise. And Tyler Hero has good catch and shoot numbers. Jimmy Butler is one of the best cutters in the NBA still. Bam. Catching lobs and, pick and roll situations. And then you have Caleb there who can do a little bit of everything to some extent. So, over.
Timmy?
I think if he is not over, we need to trade that man by February. I definitely have the over on assists, especially when a team is going to be, as we've seen, offensive-oriented, lean into, as Greg has been saying, lean in towards offense. Lowry is going to be one of the keys to this engine, and with those head-to-heads moving the ball. So, yeah, I think he gets easily 8 assists, easily.
I'm going to go to Gad in a second. I think he goes under. And it's not because I think he's going to be ineffective necessarily. I think there's going to be a lot of hockey assists.
I can see that. Yep.
The way that they're going to play. They've added in Hero another kind of playmaker to the starting lineup, which I think takes away from some of Kyle's assists. I think we could see situations where Kyle's setting Tyler up, but Tyler's making the extra pass to somebody else, perhaps Bam or Jimmy. I think you're talking about there is going to be more motion, more cutting this season. I think Caleb in the starting lineup facilitates that a lot. I don't necessarily think that leads to more Lowry assists. He may get someone killed with one of those lobs that he throws. So we got to watch out for those. Gad is shaking his head. But here's the other thing. I think the organization has a vested interest in getting some of these other guards some minutes. I think they need to see if Gabe Vincent can be their starting point guard of the future, because they've got a contract decision to make on him coming up pretty soon. And they've also got Victor Oladipo in the last year of his contract again. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So how many playmakers are we talking about? We're talking about Jimmy, Bam, Hero, Oladipo, Vincent. I don't know if there's 7 assists still on the table there for Kyle Lowry if all of these guys are playing. Remember, Vic was not playing last year when Kyle put up those numbers. Also, some of those assist numbers came when the other guys were out and he was handling quite a bit. That may not happen as much this year. I'm going under on Kyle. I think he's closer to 6 assists. Gad.
I was going to go under too, and I thought I was really going to be the only one doing it. And like you said, this is not a slight to Kyle. I think passing is far and away his best attribute. I think his playmaking is something that really helps his team. But simultaneously, with the gluttony of guards that they have, it's going to be harder for him to get that many assists. You can't really project injury. There's going to be some games that Jimmy's going to miss. There's also going to be some games that Kyle's going to miss. I really think that they just have so many playmakers. The ball is going to be moving so much. You don't need to have one real lead guy, in my opinion. I think if Kyle Lowry turns into more of a scorer, at least more of a 3-point shooter this year, that's to this team's benefit. And I think that would help this offense a lot more than having Kyle just run the offense, which we know he's capable of, but I'd like to see more of a mix of both because I felt like he was doing the latter last year. So I'm going to go under here, probably 6.5, but I'll go under.
I also think his minutes are going to be cut, which also I think similarly to Jimmy, to make sure that he's healthy for the playoffs this year. So we're both going under. The two guys at the top are going over. All right.
However, I think you might have changed my mind. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
that's too late.
When that was elaborated on, like I was like, shit, they do have a lot of playmakers they're invested in.
They do, but it's too late, Brian. All right, so that's where we're at. Now we're gonna go across the NBA. We're gonna do this thing rapid fire. Again, use the code 5 FIVE, get that initial deposit matched up to $100. All right, again, you can download this from the Google the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, or also PrizePicks.com. It's simple. I'm just telling you all the sports here. Here's everything that's on the board right now. NFL second half, NHL, college football second half, NBA, college football, soccer, esports, PGA, NFL first half, MLB, NBA season, live golf, tennis, MMA, boxing, NHL season, NASCAR. Okay, I don't even know what Xfinity is. Honestly, I have no idea. What are you betting on when the cable's going to go out? I have no idea. Okay, but you can do all of this stuff here at PrizePicks. All right, but we are doing rapid fire here. Again, use the code 5. You ready? I'm going around the horn. I'm not even looking. I'm looking at the PrizePicks screen. I'm not even looking at you guys right now. So I'm just gonna say a player. I'm gonna go over or under. Brian, Joel Embiid, 30 points.
Under.
Timmy, Giannis, 29.5 points.
Under.
Okay, let's go to Gad. Luka, 28.5 points.
Over.
I like that too. Brian, Trae Young, 28.
Under. Way under.
Timmy, LeBron, 27.5.
By necessity, over.
Let's go to Gad. John Morant, 27.5.
Under.
Brian, Devin Booker, 26.5.
Ooh, slight under.
Timmy, I'll give you this one. Kyrie, 26.5.
He will not qualify, but under.
Gad, Jokic, 26.5.
Ooh, that's a tough line. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
All right. Brian, Steph, 26 points.
Slight under.
Timmy, Bradley Beal, 25.5.
Over.
Gad,
Over.
to me, this one is an easy one. Donovan Mitchell, 25.5.
You guys are gonna disagree. I'm gonna go over. I think he has a good year with Cleveland.
I think he has a good year, but I think they've got other scorers there.
That's his primary thing. So he's gonna score the basketball for them. I wholeheartedly believe that.
All right. Let's go to you, Brian. Zach LaVine, 25.
Under.
Timmy, Cat, 24.5.
Over.
Oh boy, this guy will not qualify. Gad, Anthony Davis, 24.
Over.
Over.
AD looked really good the time that I saw him play last night, so I'm going over.
Until he has a hang.
He did look great last night. 19 points in like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Well, they don't have anybody else but him and LeBron. All right, Brian, my favorite. James Harden, 21.5.
Under.
Timmy, this
What?
one's me.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, you know I'm not a Harden guy, so I'm
Sorry.
I'm not.
All right, Timmy.
I want to get one over before we finish this.
No, you're not, Timmy. To me, this one's an easy one too. LaMelo Ball, 21.5.
Over. Yeah. Way over.
Really?
Who's on the team, Ethan?
That's a good point, but he's got to pass. I would think he'd be passing to somebody. All right, we will get Brian over at some point. Gad, CJ McCollum, 21.
Under.
I might go over. Domantas Sabonis, 19, Brian.
Over.
Yeah,
that
too.
one I feel good about.
Timmy, DeMar DeRozan, 26.
Slightly under.
And one more here, and then I'm going to try to find somebody Brian will go over on, additionally. Gad, Anthony Edwards, 23.
Over.
Let's see if I can get you an over here. All right. Tyrese Maxey, Brian, 18.5.
Over, actually. Yeah.
And that's the way to close. All right. Thanks to our producer, David Eversol. I'll get your picks off the air, David. Thanks to Timothy Bain. Thanks to Brian Fonseca. Thanks to Gadiel Cartagena. Thanks to the 5 on the Floor audience. 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. We are close to 20,000 subscribers. If you're listening here, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. PrizePicks, code 5, FIVE. Sign up. Argue with us. Go the other direction. Force Brian to go over. Have a good night, everybody.